Okay, you can use a multiplication table as a tool to teach equivalent fractions because it's something that students are already familiar with when they're in the 4th grade learning about equivalent fractions. So I'm going to give you an example here. If you start with the fraction 2/3, got 2/3 highlighted there in green, I can look at all of the equivalent fractions up to a multiplier of 12 by saying, okay, all the way across, those would be my numerators, and along the bottom, those would be my denominators. So I've got 2/3, the fraction I started with, 4/6, 6/9, 8/12, 10/15, and so on. Now, another cool feature of this is if you look across the top, I'll highlight in yellow, the numbers up here are your multipliers. So from your original fraction, 2/3, my multiplier was 1. Then my next fraction, 4/6, from that original, my multiplier was 2. 3 was my multiplier to get 6/9. 4 was my multiplier to get 8/12, and so on and so forth. So this is a really interesting tool. Now it works even when the two numbers aren't right on top of each other. So I could pick another fraction like 5/9, and then I could again say, all right, I'm going to highlight this entire row of 5s. Those are my numerators. And my entire row of 9s, those are my denominators. And again, in yellow, across that top bar, those are my multipliers. So I've got 5 becomes 5 with a multiplier of 1. It becomes 10 with a multiplier of 2. And it's set up so I've got a numerator matched with a denominator. A numerator matched with a denominator. And that works all the way across. So you can use transparency strips to go across these so that you can reuse the multiplication chart, or you can print off multiplication charts and use a highlighter to go across. If they have a printed multiplication chart that they can fold up, they can bring that 5/9 closer together so they can see the fraction more clearly. Right. I hope this was a helpful tool for you. It is one way to help teaching equivalent fractions, which is a really difficult concept for students to grasp.